Welcome to Punjab. This is J. Reddy. We are continuing our fascinating wanderings, our journey, our mazli in the land of five R's, the land of gurus, the land of Vedic rishis, the land of Harappa civilization, the land where the great Indus Valley civilization, Hindu Buddhist civilizations arrived, are formed. That is our fascinating Punjab. And today's part of Punjab geography, I talk about the regions. And here I will explain you why that is very important. Suppose if you are living in Chakwal, moreover, I would like to say I am not from Punjab, I am from Deccan, South India. So some of the pronunciations of the places or the spellings may be little different from them local people, so you have to keep that in mind. And also I never lived in Punjab, and I only traveled maybe through the journey train for only a few hours in Punjab, that is East Punjab only. So to make the point very clear to you. Yeah, suppose if there are people living in Chakwal, so that is West Punjab, and you meet them anywhere in the world, let's say, where are you? I am from, let's say, from Chakwal region. If simply Chakwal, we don't know. You say, in the Chakwal region, in the Chakwal town or district in the Potohar Plateau of Western Punjab, south of Rawalpindi or north of Multan. If you say like that, it makes the things very clear, even for a general audience, acquaintance. So you are conveying a lot of knowledge of your land, your territory. Say you are from Abohar region. We can say I am from the Abohar region, East Punjab, Purvi Punjab, that is south of Sutlej River, that comes under a region called Malwa, Punjabi Malwa. That is different from central provinces Malwa, that is Ujjaini Malwa. Then you are conveying lot of knowledge in a simple one or two sentence for your audience. In order to do that, you have to be knowledgeable about the regions. Now, the regions and districts and frontiers and political, that provinces, the boundary lines, they all sometimes they join together, there are amalgamations, separations. In this part, I will talk about the regions of the land of gurus, Punjab. And this is the bird's eye view, and we will explore these further in future at appropriate time. So, for clarity here, I have mentioned these regions in the Himachal area, in the Haryana area, in the East Punjab area, in the West Punjab area, and what are the five Doabs and other regions. And we'll go over these here little bit. Chandra-Bhaga Basin, and Ravi Basin. If you say this Himachal, Chandra-Bhaga Basin and Ravi Basin and Kulu Valley, Kangra Valley, the historic Kangra Valley of Katoch Rajputs, that is also called Beas Valley. Then we talk about Sutlej Valley, various regions of Sutlej Valley, that is Baspa Valley or Rampur Valley or Mahashu Valley. And because the Punjab also bordered the Garhwal, British Garhwal, Tehri Garhwal region, the Tons, Pabar, Giri and Yamuna, these are also some regions. That was in the Bashar princely state, that is Kinnaur district now. That was a part of British Punjab, that's why we have put here. Then the Haryana, we have Kurukshetra plains, that is this the Haryana Kurukshetra plains, and the western part Gagar plains or Saraswati river plains, also called Bhagar region or Bangar region, that is Gagar Nali region or Hisar plains, essentially sandy loamy regions. We'll talk about that. That is Kurukshetra plains and Bagar plains. Then further southern part of Haryana region, we have Delhi Ridge, outliers of Aravalli Mountains, and Mevat region and Ahirvati region. So in Haryana, after this presentation, we will know broadly Kurukshetra plains, Bagar plains, Rewari uplands, Delhi ridge, Aravali regions, Mevat regions, and Ahirvati region. Then we have the East Punjab. In the East Punjab, we'll talk about close to the Sivaliks, we have Hoshiarpur, Chandigarh, Sub-montane regions, also called Cholans. Then we talk about Upper Bari Doab, the Majha region. Then the Jalandhar plains are Bist Doab region. And Punjabi Malwa versus Malwa in Madhya Pradesh are central provinces to avoid the confusion. The Malwa, Punjab Malwa, south of Sutlej regions. Then in the West Punjab region, then we have 4 bars and 5 doabs. What are those 4 bars? We'll talk about bar is essentially a local geographical term called the tableland. Nili Bar, Ganji Bar, Sandal Bar and Kirana Bar. And 5 doabs, Majha Doab and Bist Doab, Bari Doab, Rechna Doab, Chaj Doab, Chaj Doab and Sindh Sagar Doab. These are the Doab regions. 5 doabs and 4 bars, we will know. 5 doabs and 4 bars. And Derajat region. We talk about Derajat region or Deravale region. And Thal Desert is a part of Thar Desert. Cholistan Desert, that is a part of other name for Thar Desert. And historic Potohar Plateau, Rawalpindi region. And rimming the Potohar Plateau, we have Salt Range Mountains, where the river Jhelum skids through into Punjab plains. We have the Gorge, mountain regions where the river falls. We talk about Tarbela Gorge, Kalabagh Gorge, Attak Gorge. Then we have Peshawar Basin. The Peshawar Basin, then is a Kohat Pass. Like a Khyber Pass here, we have Kohat Pass. Peshawar Basin west has a Khyber Pass. In the southern region is a Kohat Pass. If you descend the Kohat Pass, then we have Bannu Basin where the Gomal River flows and joins Sindhu River, Indus River at Mian Valley region. That is Bannu Basin. And we have historic Khyber Pass. Then once you cross the Khyber Pass, even though it's not Punjab, we just covered a little bit Jalalabad Basin, then the Kabul Basin. And these are the Safed Ko mountains where Khyber Pass resides. And these are the Baluchistan mountains called Suleiman Range that continues in Punjab, in the southern part of Sindhu province, like Kirtar Range here. Kirtar Range, Suleiman Range, and Safed Ko mountains. So, excuse me, these are the broad geographical regions we are going to cover today about the part of Punjab geography. After this, you will get a good understanding not just about the districts in Punjab, which are essentially political units. Regions are geographical units. They stay there forever. Instead of you redraw the political boundaries of a district or a state or a division or even a country. Chandra-Bhaga Basin. Chandra and Bhaga Basin. Let me expand a little bit here. We are talking about the Himachal. You have Kangra here. This is the Himachal region. Chandra-Bhaga Basin. Chandra is a river. This is Sutlej River, Ravi River. This is a Chandra River. This is Bhaga River. Chandra-Bhaga River become Chenab River. Both rivers join at a place called Thandi, and the river continues its journey to Killer and into Kistur, Doda, Ramban, and falls into the plains near Aknur and continues the journey. So Jammu will be here. That is Chandra-Bhaga Basin. Chandra River, Bhaga River, that is in the Lahul Spiti districts across Pir Panjal, and is a Pir Panjal here and Himalaya mountains here, Himadris. Chandra-Bhaga Basin. River Ravi. River Ravi originates in the Brahmaur area. Brahmaur area, and that is the Dauladhar mountains is entirely here in the Chamba district, and it skids the Dauladhar ranges, mountains, enter into Punjab plains. Here there will be Pathankot, here there will be Madhopur. That is the Ravi Basin. The Ravi Basin round River Ravi in the Chamba district, northern part of Himachal Pradesh. Then, excuse me, then we have Kulu Valley. Kulu Valley is south of Rohtang Pass. It is the Rohtang Pass here is the Kulu and Banjar. Largi here, it cuts the Dauladhar at Largi. This is not a high resolution map. We'll look at in some other presentation. This is a broader idea you will get. Kulu Valley. And it lives at Largi and along the the river. This is the Sutlej and Chenab and Ravi and Beas River. Then the Kangra Valley or Kulu Valley. This you can see Kangra Valley or Kulu Valley. Historic Katoch Rajput kingdoms resided in that area. North we will see the Dauladhar mountains. South you see Sivalik mountains, and the Kangra Valley at Mirtal, the Beas River enters into the Punjab plain. That is a very pleasant, beautiful valley. The historic railway line from Pathankot to Kangra and Palanpur ending at Joginder Nagar goes into through the Kangra Valley. That is Kangra Valley or Beas Valley. Then we have Sutlej Valley. Sutlej River comes from the Tibet, Manas Sarovar, enters into Himachal at Sipkila Pass here. Then it gathers the Baspa River from the south that has a Baspa Valley, goes to Rampur town. That area is called Rampur Valley, north of Simla, capital Simla. And Mahasu Valley, the historic Suket region. Mahasu, that is the Sutlej Valley, and goes to the Bilaspur, and Bilaspur it enters into the plains and enters into Anandpur Sahib and Kirtarpur and finally at Rupnagar and enters into Punjab completely. That is, and the eastern part we mentioned there is a Tons River, Phabar River, Giri River, Yamuna, because even though they are the eastern part of Himachal, that comes under Bashar princely state, that is Kinnaur district, which was a part of British Punjab under Hill States Agency. So I mentioned that a little bit here. So that is about Himachal region, Chandra-Bhaga Ridge Basin, that is Chenab Basin, Ravi Basin from Brahmaur to Madhopur and Pathankot region. Then the Kulu Valley south of Rohtang Pass, the Banjar, Kulu and Largi and so on. The Kangra Valley, Beas Valley south of Dauladhar mountain, starting from Mandi and Kangra, Palanpur, Gobipur and Nurpur and those regions up to Mirtal and south of Pathankot, that is Kangra Valley or Beas Valley. Then we have Sutlej Valley, and as we talked about Sipkila Pass and Baspa Valley, Rampur Valley, Mahashu Valley. Baspa Valley here, Rampur Valley, Mahasu Valley, and Bilashpur and Anandpur Sahib and Rupnagar or Ropar, so on. That is about the regions in the Himachal region, the eastern part of historical Punjab or British Punjab. Now coming to Haryana regions. South of Sutlej there is a Malwa, and south of Gaggar river or Hakra river there is a Haryanvi speaking area called Haryana. Then the eastern part of Haryana, that is west of Yamuna river, the plains is called Kurukshetra plains. These are the Kurukshetra plains of historic Kurukshetra battle happened here. So the regions are essentially Jagadri and Ambala, Yamuna Nagar here, and Kaital or Thaneshwar, Kurukshetra here, and Panipat, Sonipat, Karnal, and Rohtak regions, and so on. This is about Kurukshetra plains. That means in the Haryana region, the eastern part, this part, Kurukshetra plains. The western part of Haryana are called Bagar plains or Gaggar plains. Gaggar Nali plains or Hissar plains. Hissar is the important headquarters and city. Hissar itself means fort, and you see Bagar plains here, Kurukshetra plains here, and Malwa region here, Puadh region here. Bagar plains are centered around historically like in the Jind area and Fatehabad region, Hissar region, and Sirsa and Dabwali regions and Bhiwani regions, and so on. These are essentially sandy loamy areas. Then further south, close to Aravalli region, that is Shekhawati regions of Rajasthan, we have Rewari uplands here somewhere, Rewari region, Rewari, Jajjar, Narnaul, Mohindergarh region. They are adjoining to the Mewat. Here we have South Mewat, Gurgaon and Faridabad district, Mewat region, historic Mewat region. And then next to it we also Ahirvati language is spoken, that is close to the Aravalli region, Alwar districts and so on, Ahirvati region. Ahirvati region and Mewat region and outliers of Aravalli mountains that start in Gujarat, close to Idar, continue Ajmer and Jaipur regions and adjoining Shekhawati regions, enter into Haryana, and in Haryana, Gurgaon and Faridabad district, and now Bhiwani Mohindergarh district, and enter into Delhi Union Territory, pass as Delhi Ridge. That's what we are talking about. A mountainous green patch land in the urbanized Delhi region. So Mewat region, Ahirvati region, Delhi Ridge here, Rewari upland, Kurukshetra eastern plains are Saraswati eastern Kurukshetra plains and western Bagar plain. That is about Haryana region. Now we talk about East Punjab region. East Punjab region, that is the Purbi Punjab region, we talk about this is the Sutlej river and this is Beas river. We have see here this is Sivaliks. This is Sivaliks, this is Solasigi mountains, and this is essentially sub-montane region. This is called Hoshiarpur, Chandigarh will be somewhere here. This is Hoshiarpur, Chandigarh sub-montane regions. Hoshiarpur, Yuna and Navanshar and parts of Rupnagar and finally Chandigarh. This is sub-montane region. Then this is the Bari Doab and Radcliffe line, the partition of Punjab, awarded Gurdaspur district here and Amritsar district here. This is the upper region of Bari Doab, that is Taran Taran, Amritsar and Ajnala. Then we have Batala, Gurdaspur, Qudian and Dinanagar and finally Pathankot. This is called Upper Bari Doab. This is Beas river, this is Ravi river. So this entire thing you see Bari Doab. This is the upper part of Bari Doab, essentially Amritsar district and Gurdaspur, Pathankot areas. That is Upper Bari Doab. We have Sutlej River here. This is Bakra Nangal Dam, the reservoir, Bilaspur Reservoir, Sutlej River. And this is the Beas River from Mirtal to Beas River and Harike Patan, where it joins Sutlej. This is Beas River, this is Sutlej River. This is called Bist Doab or Jalandhar Doab, Jalandhar region. That means essentially it contains the Kapurthala region, Jalandhar and Nakhodar and Philaur and Phagwara and those areas. That is the Jalandhar Plains, Jalandhar region. Then south of Sutlej region we have Malwa, Punjab Malwa. That is in comparison with Ujjaini Malwa or central provinces Malwa or Madhya Pradesh Malwa. That is the Dar, Devas, Indore, Ujjain and those areas, Ratlam and Jabwa, those areas is the Malwa. And we are not talking about that, we are talking of Punjab Malwa. Punjab Malwa south of Sutlej and east of Sutlej is the Malwa. We have Firozpur district and Faridkot district. We have Bathinda here and we have Mansa here. That's the western part of this plains is Malwa. They speak a language or dialect of Punjabi called Malvi. And the eastern part is Puadh, especially like eastern part of Ludhiana district, I think Nakodar and Patiala and Samana and Sarhind, those regions. Puadh region, and sometimes they called clubbed together as a Malwa region, south of Sutlej. So East Punjab we have Malwa, Doba and Majha. That is about East Punjab, the historic region. Now we go to West Punjab. West Punjab has, you have to know here briefly I mention, talk about the bars. There are 4 bars and there are 5 doabs. Because there are 5 doabs, this is called Punjab. We will talk about the doabs and bars more details later, but for our purpose here this will be sufficient if you know there are 5 doabs that gave the name. This is a Beas River, Sutlej River, this is a Bist Doab. Then you have a Ravi River and Beas River, that is a Bari Doab. Then Rechna Doab, you have a Ravi River here, Chinab here, this is Rechna Doab. And we have Chaj Doab or Chaj Doab. Let me expand that little bit. Chaj Doab, and we have Sindh Sagar Doab. So those 5 doabs are Sindh Sagar Doab, Chaj Doab, Rechna Doab, Bari Doab, Bist Doab. Doab is simply a region, interflow between 2 water bodies, rivers. This is a doab. These are 2 rivers, this is a doab. These are 2 rivers, this is one doab. And bar is a tableland. That means historically when the population was very less and people, when agricultural civilization started, they start colonizing, residing, clearing the forest along the rivers. That is the river. And the interior region, elevated region, because the river cuts over millennia, millions of years the land and becomes lower and lower. Still upland, tableland between 2 rivers remains. That is called Bar. And we have Nili Bar here. We have Bari Doab, Nili Bar here. The Beas River historically flowed separately like here, like that, finally joined in Chinab River. It joined with Chinab. Then Sutlej River flowed separately, that joined here. After certain changes, now Beas River doesn't flow, it joins Sutlej River at Harike Patan, near Taran area of Amritsar district. But historically, still you can see that the bed area. So that Beas bed, there is a Nili Bar. North of Beas bed, there is a Ganji Bar. Nili Bar, Ganji Bar in the Bari Doab region. Then in the Rechna Doab, between Ravi River and Chinab River, There is a Sandal Bar, the elevated region. Nowadays, after British colonization, damming of the rivers, taking of the water from the rivers, and canal colonies were built. We don't see these bars that much anymore, but historically the name still stands. That is called Sandal Bar in the Rechna Doab, Ganji Bar in the Bari Doab north of Old Beas River, Nili Bar in the Bari Doab south of Old Beas River bed. Then we have Chaj Doab, that means we have Chenab River, Jhelum River, and the Doab, that's the Gujarat and Gujarat, Mandi Bahauddin and those areas, it's called Kirana Bar. Kirana Bar in Chaj Doab. So we covered the 4 bars, Nili Bar and Ganji Bar in Bari Doab region, and Sandal Bar in Rechna Doab region. You can remember Sandal RS, Rechna Doab, Sandal Bar. Then Chaj Doab, we have Kirana Bar. Chaj, Kirana Bar. Then we looked at 5 Doabs, right? That is 5 Doabs. The Doab region is different from Majha. We talk about the Majha historical region in Punjab that center around Amritsar, Lahore, and Sialkot, Gujranwala, and later extension into Faisalabad and up to Gujarat regions. This is the Majha, the heartland of Punjab. Residents are called Mazalis or Mazis, the birthplace of Khalsa kingdom, birthplace of Sikhism, Sikh majority, Sikh consolidation, the Majha or Mazali, heartland, central regions. That's different from Bari Doab. Okay, we have talked about 5 Doabs, Bist Doab and Bari Doab, Rechna Doab, Chaj Doab or Chaj Doab, Sindh Sagar Doab. Then we go little more detail about further regions in West Punjab. Let me expand a little bit. Then we have Derajat region or Derawala region. We see the Sindhu river, Indus river here, this Attok here, and Mianwali, Kalabak here. West side of Sindhu river, Indus river is called Dera. Dera means essentially a ghar, historic fort, protected area. Lot of Beluchi tribes were riding here into the plains, and the olden days they built the fort. So Derajat region or Derawal region. The important districts or regions are Ghazi Khan, Dera Ghazi Khan, DGK, and Dera Ismail Khan, and Patun speaking Banu and Kohat, those regions are south of Banu. They are Derajat region in Punjab or Derawali region. So they speak a dialect of Punjabi called Derajat. And then Thal region. Thal, this is Sindh Sagar Doab, right? Sindh river and Jhelum river, and Jhelum as it flows into Chenab, Majha, and Sindh Sagar Doab has northern part essentially, or a whole part is called Thal region, south of Sutlej Salt Range mountain. Essentially, this is the region Maharaja Ranjit Singh conquered later. This is economically very poor region still, but this is called Mianwali district, I think from where current Prime Minister of Pakistan comes from, Imran Khan, Mianwali region originally. And then we have Bakhar region, Laya district, Muzaffarpur district. This is Thal Desert. It is essentially an extension of Thar Desert. We have Thar Desert here. Thar Desert, we have Ganganagar district, Bikaner district, Jaisalmer district, and Barmer district. This area east of Jodhpur, east of Aravali, is a Thar area, Thar district, desert area. And that is called Cholistan in erstwhile princely state of Bahawalpur, called Cholistan. That is called Thal Desert in Sindh Sagar Doab. So Thal Desert, Cholistan Desert. Then north of the Thal Desert in the Sindh Sagar Doab again, we have, this is not called generally Sindh Sagar Doab, well, southern part is called Sindh Sagar Doab. Thal Desert, it is called Potohar region. Potohar region. Essentially, Potohar region is Rawalpindi here, Rawalpindi district and Attock district, where this is the Kabul river. It joins at Attock, the Indus river. And then Chakwal, historic Chakwal region. And that is Potohar region. Son river flows from here. You can see Soan river that joins Sindhu river, Indus river. And Potohar elevated region. Remember, Punjab plains are around about 250 meters above sea level. Peshawar basin may be little more. The Potohar Plateau is essentially more elevated, 6, 7, 8, 900, some places more than 1,000 meters. You see in the Salt Range Mountain. These are Salt Range Mountains. You see the Salt Range, a mountain that skids the Potohar in southern part. Jhelum River cuts through the edge and joins the Punjab plain. And Indus River cuts through the Potohar and Salt Range and enters into plains. That is called debouching of the river. That means it falls into the plains. Here in the Kalabag region, that is Kalabag here, Kalabag Dam and Mian Valley town and so on. So Potohar Plateau, that is Chakwal and Rawalpindi district, Attock district and Jhelum district. And Salt Range Mountains. The Gorges. Gorges is where the river enters into a small mountainous area. See, at the Sindhu River moves south, we have a Tarbela Dam here in the Hazara region and Swat region. Somewhere here, Tarbela Dam. That is a Tarbela Gorge. The Haripur area and so on. As we move further into plains, and Charsada region in the Peshawar Basin, then again it cuts to the Safedko mountain part, that where Attock river, Attock here and Jahangira in the Peshawar Basin. So there is a Attock Gorge, there is a Tarbela Gorge. Then it moves the Sindhu river, Indus river moves to the Potohar Plateau and again cuts the Salt Range near Kalabag Gorge. So those are the three gorges: Kalabag Gorge, Attock Gorge, Tarbela Gorge. Peshawar Basin is essentially an extension of Punjab Plains. Potohar is a basin. Then we have Peshawar district, Charsada district, and historic Jamrad fort guards the Khyber Pass. Across the Khyber Pass, once you cross Landi Kotal, you enter into again plain, that is the west side of Khyber Pass in Afghania area, that is Pashtun speaking area, Jalalabad Basin. That is essentially Kabul River Basin. Kabul River here and Kunar River here. And west of this Jalalabad Basin, there is an arid basin, that is Kabul Basin, south of the Hindu Kush mountain. So Kabul Basin, Jalalabad Basin, Peshawar Basin here. Then south of Peshawar Basin, there is a pass called Kohat Pass. From Peshawar, you can enter into Kohat region and further into the Trans-Indus regions through this pass. That is Kohat. Also gives its name to the Kohat district. And south of this, you have again a basin called Banu Basin, centered around Gomal River. It's a Gomal Pass here, Gomal River. Then there are Ismail Khan district and Ismail Khan district here and Jab River. So that is about the passes. Then these are the Suleiman mountain ranges. The Baluchistan plateau skirted by the Suleiman mountains west of Derawala region or Derajat region, that is Ismail Khan district and Ghazi Khan districts and Banu districts and so on. These are the Suleiman mountain ranges. These are the Safed Ko mountain ranges. So you have Hindu Kush mountains here and Karakoram Nat here and Pamir Nat and Karakoram mountains and Himadri or Himachal mountains and Janskar mountains and Pir Panjals and Himadri mountains here and so on. So that is in brief about the regions of Punjab. What do you get from today's presentation? You get a lot about today's presentation. We looked at Punjab, the land of 5 rivers, through a different spectrum, different glasses, different eyes, different perspectives. It is not political districts like or political demarcations like East Punjab or West Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh. We looked Punjab through the various regions. That's very important. What did we discuss? We discussed about the regions in the Himachal Pradesh, regions in the Haryana, regions in East Punjab. We discussed about the regions in West Punjab. We talked about the 5 Doabs. We talked about the 4 bars. We talked about the further regions in West Punjab. To briefly mention, in the Himachal region, we have Chandra River, a Bhaga River, which join together at Thandi, this is the Thandi, and continue as a Chenab River to Kellar and Kishtwar and so on. That is a Chandra-Bhaga Basin, eastern part. Then Ravi River arising from the Brahmaur area and it skits the Dauladhar mountains essentially in the Chamba district, that is the Ravi Basin. The historic Chamba city sits on the Ravi River in the Ravi Basin and Ravi River. And in the Beas River we talked about the Kullu Valley, that's the south of Rohtang Pass, Kullu and Banjar and Ladri, a small valley, Kullu Valley. Then Beas River continues after cutting Dauladhar mountains. Dauladhar mountains here at Ladri again cuts near Mandi area, enters into Kangra Valley. Far more former Katoch Rajput kingdoms, historic kingdoms, ruled by Maharaja Sansar Chand, was a contemporary of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, hosts that area. Kangra Valley or Beas Valley, south of Dauladhar mountains. Then we talked about Sutlej Valley. After it enters from Tibet into Himachal at Sipkila Pass, it gathers a southern boundary called Baspa River, that is called Baspa Valley area, then continues to Rampur town north of Simla, that is Rampur Valley, and north of Simla, Mahasu Valley or Suket Valley, and continues to Bilaspur, Anandpur, Kiratpur and Ropnagar and like that. That is Sutlej Valley. Eastern part of Himachal we talked about Tons River, Pabar River, Giri River and Yamuna River bordering the border of Sirmoor Princely State and Bashar Princely State that were indirectly controlled by the British Punjab. That's why that's the part of Himachal we covered. In the Haryana region we covered, that is south of Gaggar region, we covered eastern part Kurukshetra plains, that is Ambala, Sonipat, Panipat, Thaneshwar and Karnal, those areas, and western part Bagar region or Gaggar Nali region, essentially historic Hisar region and Sirsa and Bhiwani and so on. And southern, this is essentially Sandy Loamy area. And we covered Rewari uplands, that is southern part of Haryana, Rewari region, Mohindergarh region, and Delhi Ridge as an outlier of Aravalli mountains. Then southern part of Haryana, this is in the Gurgaon, Faridabad, Mohindergarh, Narnaul area. We covered our Mewat region and Ahirwati region. That are the regions of Haryana. Then in East Punjab, Purbi Punjab, a truncated Punjab, we covered along the Sivaliks and Shohasigi mountains. Hoshiarpur and Chandigarh Cholands are sub-montane regions, starting from Beas River and up to Chandigarh. And then we covered about the Bari Doab region, Upper Bari Doab, Patankot, Qadian, Batala, Gurdaspur, Dinanagar, those regions. And Amritsar, Ajnala, Tarantana. That's a Bari Doab, Upper Bari Doab. Then in the Bist Doab we covered Jalandhar plains, covering Kapurthala, Phagwara, Phillaur, Jalandhar, Nakodar, Nawanshar, those areas. Then south of Sutlej river in East Punjab, Purbi Punjab, we covered Punjab Malwa. Western part is called Malwa, eastern part is called Puadh. Western part essentially is Firozpur, Faridkot, Bhatinda regions, and western part of Jagravan region of Ludhiana district, and the eastern part Nakodar and Sarhind, Khanna and Patiala and Samana and those regions. That's the Punjab Malwa, south of Sutlej river. Then we talked about in West Punjab there are 4 bars, tablelands between the rivers. In the Bari Doab we have Nili Bar, we have Ganji Bar, separated by the erstwhile, now defunct Bari Beas river bed, north of it Ganji Bar, south of it Nili Bar. Then Sandal Bar in the tableland in the, this is about before canalization, building of canal colonies, diversion of waters of river. Sandal Bar in the Rechna Doab, essentially Shishakpura and Lalpur districts and Toba Tek Singh and so on. Then Kirana Bar in the Chaj Doab, Rechna Doab, Gujarat, Mandi, Bahauddin and Sargoda, those regions. Then we entered into West Punjab little more deep and looked at various regions. This is the very interesting part. Then Derajat region, the west of Sindhu river, we saw Derajat regions or Derawala regions, where Dera Gaji Khan, Dera Ismail Khan districts reside. These are the Trans-Indus regions, Derajat regions. Sindh Sagar Doab, that is synonymously used for Thal Desert area, between Sindhu river and Jhelum Chenab rivers. So that is a Thal Desert. And south of Sutlej river we have former princely state ruled by Nawab, that is Bawalpur region, that is Cholistan Desert, is other name for extension of the Western Rajasthani Thar Desert, Cholistan Desert. Then we looked at the Potohar region, northern part of Sindh Sagar Doab, Potohar region, a plateau region separating and Peshawar Basin separating further Punjab plains in the east. That is Potohar region that has the historic districts of Chakwal district and Rawalpindi district and Attock district and Jhelum district. That is Potohar Plateau. Southern rim of the Potohar Plateau is the Salt Range Mountains here, Salt Range Mountains. And we saw the lot of gorges along the Sindhu river, Indus river. In the upper region where like Swat region in the west and Hazara region in the east and Haripur and those areas, we saw Tarbela Gorge. Then we saw Attock Gorge near Jahangira region of Peshawar Basin, where Kabul river joins Indus river. That's Attock Gorge, and Indus river continues further south, cuts the Salt Range Mountains a few kilometers about Mian Valley at a gorge called Kalabag Gorge. The purported Kalabag Dam is built on this gorge, Kalabag Gorge. And as a continuation of historic Punjab, that is from Khyber Pass to Delhi Delhi area, that we generally take into consideration. We also looked at Peshawar Basin, a low-lying sheltered area, Peshawar Basin, the Punjab Hills in the north, Safedko Mountains in the south and west. Peshawar Basin, Peshawar, Chersedda, Naushera, Swabi and those all areas. And south of Peshawar Basin we saw Kohat Pass leading to Banu Basin, that is the Gomal River Basin. Then the historic Khyber Pass, that means after Jamrad and Landikal, Landikotal, Torkam, and we have Khyber Pass, round about 1,000 meters or so. Then after the pass we entered into Jalalabad Basin and arid Kabul basins. And these are Suleiman mountain ranges skirting the Baluchistan plateau on the east side, then Safedko mountains hosting the historic Khyber Pass. So that's in general, we talked about the regions in Punjab rather than talking about the districts. Hope this presentation will give you a different perspective of Punjab. When you are coming from various parts of Punjab, instead of saying that I am from Laya Bakar, you can say I am from Sindh Sagar Doab, called Thal region, which is the southern part of Punjab. And if you are coming from, let's say, Abohar or Fazilka or Firozpur, you can say I am from the Malwa regions of Punjab, East Punjab, south of Sutlej. That gives a lot of historic, cultural. You will bring a lot of that knowledge to the audience, and that will be very greatly appreciated. People who are listening you and who have never visited these areas, and they know the fascinating landscape, historical names, and the cultural regions of our ancient land, the land of Hindu Buddhist civilization, the land of gurus, the land of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the land of 5 Ops, Panj Nad, Punjab. Thus today's muzzly stop of our fascinating journey in the Punjab region. We'll take up further the rivers, doabs, all those things individually, and see you later. This is your host, Anchor J. Reddy, representing South Asian map. Please consider encouraging our educational channel and give your comments, criticisms, and compliments, how we can enhance our channel. Thank you very much. See you.